Hi, good evening. Um, okay. Hi, good evening. I hope everybody's doing well this evening. Um, this is Miss Shada Bay, and I'm just wanted to talk about Lauren. Um, I want to talk about Miss Lauren Smith. Okay, Miss Lauren Smith Fields. I want to know what happened to her. We've been seeing. I'm just tired of in the news every day. It's another black woman, a young black woman, being killed and murdered. And it's like nobody seems to care. It's something about this case though that really hits different to me, and it bothers me because of the way it's being handled and the way they was handling the family. It's just very weird, and it's very typical, to be honest, when it comes to a black family. When we say we're missing our daughters or we're missing our children, we always get this kind of, get over it type of attitude. I'm sorry, guys. It was my birthday, and I was just trying to get me something to drink. But yeah, it's all this kind of attitude about. It's always an attitude like, get over it. Calm down. It's not that serious, but our children are serious. Our kids are serious. And I did a video about it the other day, and I was just such a wreck. When I tell you, I you could see I was just having a hard time, and I just said, you know what, I need to calm down and regroup because it bothered my spirit because I'm very sensitive in the spirit realm. So it's like, and for those who don't understand, I'm a spiritual person, and when you're sensitive like that, you can't, like, I can't just watch the news. Like, I get on people's nerves. I watch the news. I watch the news. I have to watch the news in doses. I can't watch it like some people could just sit there and watch it, get up and be unbothered. I'm not like that. When I watch the news, I'm bothered. Like, it's just one case after another, and I'm bothered, and I'm praying, and I'm crying, and I'm grieving, and it's just a lot to take in. So that's why I typically really don't watch the news, because it's a lot on me, and with anxiety and depression. Because when I see all that, it bothers my spirit, and I cry, and I wonder why is the world so evil, and I just start having these little hissy fits and stuff. So, it's a lot to take in. But I want to talk about Miss Lauren Smith Fields. She was a 23-year-old, beautiful, chocolate, black young girl. She was just coming in her womanhood. She just was coming in adulthood, and she was on an internet site called Bumble, and she met a Paul. No, she met a what's the guy name? Because I just found out this information not too long ago. A 37-year-old white man. Um, they was really being quiet about his name, and they just released his name not too long ago. But they was being real quiet about his name because all we knew about him was he was a nice guy. That's all we know. He's a nice guy. That's what they told. That's what the police told the family. Well, no, don't worry about him. He just was a nice guy. That bothered me when they said that. That bothered me a lot. Um, because I noticed when other races do stuff, they don't call them nice, or if they associated stuff, they already blame them for doing stuff, or just already demonize them. But when white people involved, they always use those nice little terms, a nice guy. And they didn't do a thorough investigation. They didn't do a thorough investigation at all. The way they would treat somebody else who found a dead body. This man says he met her, and he says that they had drinks of tequila, and they played board games and played games, and then he said they decided to go to sleep, and but she got sick a little bit during the time when they was playing these games, and then she went to sleep, and he slept next to her. He laid her in the bed, and when he woke up, he found that she was lifeless with blood coming out of her nose. Um, the police, they didn't do a thorough investigation. They didn't check the family had to come there and check the apartment and see that it was a used condom there, the blood that was on the girl's bed, um, pills was there, um, so I'm having a problem. I'm not blaming him, but she was alive when you got there. She was healthy when you got there, and now she's dead, and you was in shock, and they didn't even take you to the station. They just took your word for it and said you was a nice guy and sent you home. I have a problem with that because by him being the last person being there, why they didn't do a DNA testing? Why they didn't take him and say, "Well, sir, we appreciate you being here to tell us what's going on, but we need you to come to the station so we can. Would you be willing to come to the station so we can take your DNA? Because this is just typical procedure. It's typical procedure when they find people of color in those situations. So why those situations don't seem to happen for people that have a little lighter color? Well, don't have a lot of color. Why it don't work for them like that? And I just don't understand that. And the privilege that he got, it's just ridiculous because it was a dead body there. But the thing is, they don't care because she was a black woman. And that just shows if she was a white woman, if that would have been a black man, and I hate to say that because, sometimes when I talk to my white friends, they don't like when I say that because they be like, oh, don't say that. But it's true. They just be looking at me like this. But it's true. And some of them might be saying, some of them might bust. I say, girl, yeah, we know. But, it's typical when that happens, they don't, if it would have been a white dead body there with blood coming out her nose, and a black man standing there, they would have had a lot of questions for him. He couldn't have just told them that and walked off, and they said he was a nice guy. They'd have been like, we need to take you in and talk to you. If it would have been a Hispanic man or an Indian man or anybody else of color, the only one who could have walked away still was another white man. They would have said, well, sir, well, thank you for your information. And we'll get we'll can we keep your number, touch bases with you. Okay. Um, so this man was able to go on with his life. The family is getting attacked because they want to find out by the police what's going on with their daughter's death. They didn't even know she was dead for almost 24 hours. And it just seemed like the case already just sounds all jacked up. you know, and they tried to a lot of media sites and stuff tried to chalk her up to being a prostitute or a call girl because she was a younger black woman, beautiful black woman, and she was meeting up with an older white guy. Why does that have to be her scenario? Why does that have to be a stigma to her? You don't know anything about this young lady, but you already associating her with being a hoe. Okay? I have a problem with that. They sexualize black women all the time, and it's like I heard the father say something during the interview when they was interviewing him, and he said, I, I guess what he was saying was my daughter's not a drug addict, and it made me think, okay, why is he saying that? You know why he was probably saying that? Because they probably said she might have had some drugs over there, and they want to just kind of let him know. And he was like, no, I'm getting an autopsy done because I know she didn't do drugs. His name was Matthew LaFountain. And and from what I heard, he changed his account. Um he had another name under an account. It wasn't just that. Okay, I'm gonna read this segment from this article. It says Smithfields, who was black. Okay, the family of Lawrence Smithfields. I'm reading from. Let me give them their credit. Okay, this is from B.E.T. Okay, the family of Lawrence Smithfield's 23-year-old woman who was found mysteriously dead in her bed after the first date is suing Bridgeport, Connecticut Police Department, claiming it mishandled the investigation into her death. Smithfields, who is a black Smithfield, who is black, died in December following a bumble date with a white man named Matthew LaFountain. LaFountain woke up next to Smithfield the morning following their date and called the police when he found her unresponsive with blood coming out of her nose. The, he told police he observed some odd behavior during their date, including Smithfield's going into the bathroom to vomit and going outside her apartment for several minutes to see her brother. LaFountain later told an officer he thought it was odd, but he didn't feel it was his place to say anything as he didn't know her that well. Despite the mysterious circumstances surrounding the young woman's death, Bridgeport police failed to detail or question LaFountain, who was the last person to see Smithfield alive. Wait, they didn't. Okay, they didn't. The young woman's death. Police failed to detain or question LaFountain, who was the last person to see Smithfield alive. The department, who waited a month to launch an investigation after escalating social media pressure, including the 20. Okay, Smithfield's family claims there is inconsistencies in the police report, including the 23-year-old's alleged state of drunkenness when she went outside to see her brother, Lakeem Jitter. Jitter claims Smithfield did not appear drunk to him. Rolling Stones reports that Jitter told police that when he called Smithfield to bring out his basket of clothes he was picking up, he didn't know that anybody was in there. She came out and she was out there for like 10 to 15 minutes and she walked back in the house. She looked normal. She didn't look sick and she didn't look tired. She didn't look drunk. I'm her second older brother. If I would have seen her drunk, I would have said, "What are you doing? Why do you look like that?" The young woman's family is also claiming police mishandled the investigation into her death, leaving key items like a cup she and LaFountain had been drinking out of and a bottle of pills found near her bed from her apartment unexamined. The first night we saw cups there, flipped plates and the lube. Okay, first night we saw cups there, flipped plates and the lube. Okay, so they had lube too. The cops did not take any of the cups to test the liquor, Jitter told Rolling Stones. There was a big stain of blood in the middle of her bed with streaks going to the right side. The family also claims that police treated them rudely when they pushed for answers. In the beginning of this nightmare, our family was extremely mistreated by the Bridgeport Police Department, who, as we stated, initially declined to investigate Lawrence's untimely death. The family wrote on a GoFundMe page, which they set up to raise funds to hire a private investigator to look into Lawrence Smith's death. Although BDP has now decided to begin to conduct an investigation, our family would like to conduct one of our own. Many, many are taken to TikTok to criticize the lack of media coverage and public attention on Smithfield's death, comparing it to Gabby Petito, a white Petito, a white woman received a white woman she received when she went missing in September. Justice for Lawrence Smith had been trending up on the app since her death. It's happening all too often with black girls missing across the world, across the country, and no one's saying a thing, said the attorney, Darnell Crossland. When a white woman goes missing, the whole world drops everything. We are done with this. Okay. I'm sorry. I agree with that. I agree with that all the way. Um, you know, anytime a white girl go missing, the whole world do stop. I mean, we can go case, we can go case after case. I'm sorry. I gotta stay off this internet because anytime I get on here, it's always something, some kind of case popping up, popping up, popping up, and I get distracted. And I'm just trying to. It's like a case popping over here talking about Kevin Gates and another picture showing Tyler Perry show with three men in the bed together. It's just too much. Okay, you just can't take a lot. I can't take too much. Trying to focus on one thing. I just can't be bothered with that. But in the police report, I mean, the police are basically saying that they didn't do it. They said they put another police person on, another detective on the case because the first detective dropped the ball, and he did drop the ball. He didn't seem concerned with the blood. He didn't seem concerned with the cups. He didn't seem concerned with the lube. You know, obviously, some sex came into play. Okay, they didn't do a DNA test, so a lot of evidence is lost. We can't even prove that he had sex with her that night because they didn't do a DNA test. You know, if she was sick, why y'all had time to get some lube? You know that I don't understand that. If she was just so tired playing those board games, she was just so tired you had to carry her to the room. How did you find time for sex and to have sex with a man she didn't even know? It was another case where they were saying somebody else mentioned that she was saying he mentioned that he wanted her to give her $40 to get her nails done. First of all, that's a lie. Cause ain't no way in the world, ain't nowhere no nail tech cost charging no $40 for nails. That's a lie. So the average refill almost $65 now. So that's a lie. And she had her nails long and all that. She definitely was paying more than that. She was at least paying. She getting designs, so she at least paying $50 to $65. You know, it bothers me when they call him a nice guy without even knowing him. He just white, but they just said he a nice guy. You know, it kind of reminded me of this documentary I was watching. And if y'all have time, check out this documentary called Ken and Barbie Killers. I don't want to go into detail about the story because I want you to watch it for yourself and see it for yourself so you'll understand why I feel the way I'm feeling about this case. In that documentary, they had this couple that was young, white and blonde, and they was doing some crazy, out of control stuff. Okay, they were monsters. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. But it seemed like the Canadian law enforcement and it just seemed like they just really worked hard to follow the rules to give them the most justifying case they could possibly give them. It's like they just couldn't. They just was crossing all the T's and dotting all their I's. And these people was evil. And it was a part in the documentary, which I want to just express that part, where they had a artist. You know how they do when they trying to figure out how somebody look. One of the victims of of a crime talked to one of their artists and one of their police artists, and they drew a picture. That picture was almost the exact image of that man. And some of the friends, some of their family friends who thought he was an odd person anyway, went to the police and made complaints and said, you know what, we know this dude. He looks like this picture, and we want y'all to investigate him. They didn't take it seriously. When he came to the station, he looked nice. He was young. He was white. He had blonde hair, and they just said, you know what, this is a nice guy. Even when they didn't even say, well, let's get a DNA test. He asked for a DNA test, and they said, oh, because he even asked for one, we didn't even think nothing of it because he asked for one. And if he was guilty, he wouldn't even ask for a DNA test. So we just told him to go home because he was a nice guy. If they would have stopped him and did a DNA test, they could have stopped a lot of evil that was going to probably that end up transpiring later on. But because they looked at him as being a nice guy, they ignored doing their job. They ignored doing their job. Now this beautiful little chocolate little girl gone. She supposed to be. I heard that her grandmother had trips tomorrow. She would have been going to Greece on the 23rd. That was her plan. She was going to Greece just to enjoy life and living her life. And now she gone. Since December 12th, she been gone because she had met somebody on Bumble. It's too late to talk. We just have to play this case out. We gonna every day. The more I find that information, I'm gonna come back and we gonna talk more about it because it's on my heart. When I saw her mom crying like that, it did something to my spirit. I just, as a mother, and I can't keep thinking about it because if I think about her breaking down like she did on that TV, I'm gonna start crying. This whole thing gonna be over. Okay. It's just a lot to take in because as a mother, and when you love your child, and you can feel the love for their child through them. You know, you can feel the father's pain. You know, that man holding pain. You can feel her brother's pain. She was loved. She had men that was protecting her, surrounding her. So obviously, she didn't feel in danger at the time. Now, I'm gonna be honest, and this is what I feel. What happened when she met him. Mr. Fontaine or whatever his name. I believe he poisoned her. I believe he gave her some kind of date rape drug and he probably went a little too far. Because he wanted sex. Okay. And he got sex compared because there was a condom there, a used condom there. So he got what he wanted. But I think it went a little too far and she ended up dying. Because see, when people slip them drugs on people and do that little stuff in their drinks and stuff, they don't know what medical issues some people have. You don't know anything about them. And you giving them stuff that might counteract with medicines they take in or anything. You know. And I believe that's what happened. I believe he poisoned her and that was the situation. And see, by him being a white man, he looked halfway decent. He looked tall on his pictures and stuff like that. And he probably know how to talk and present himself. They was like, oh, he's okay, he's good. No, he's not good. You should have did a DNA test. You should have went through there and took photos. You didn't treat this girl right. You didn't care. You just didn't care. And it bothers me because when I was 23 and young like that, when I was younger like that, I had incidents that happened to me like that and dealing with the police, and it was hell because they treat you like you the one who do everything, who the ones in the wrong. Somebody could have just completely attacked you, and they want to know what you did. What did you do? Well, you shouldn't have been there. Well, I was at work. I always go to work. Well, you should have did this. It's never. It's like they put this accountability on you. What you had on? Well, you shouldn't have wore that. You know your hips too big to have that on. You know they just try to make it your issue. But I want to talk to young girls and young ladies. Please be careful when y'all meeting guys on these dating sites. Please be careful. If you decide to meet with him or them or whoever you're going to meet with, make sure when you meet with them, you don't invite them to your home. I'm just going to break some little wisdom down for y'all, okay? Because sometimes people don't, it's hard to teach younger generations a lot of times because they think they know everything and they don't understand. And I was there too, because there was a time I thought I knew everything. But to be honest, you're only 18. You're only 17. You don't really know what you think you know. You're only 16. You see the world from. You are exposed to a lot, and a lot of y'all exposed to a lot. And I was exposed to a lot growing up. So I just thought I knew a lot, but I was naive to a lot of things. And it didn't take. That's why age is such a good teacher. It's an experience. You see more stuff. You see more evil. You see. So it's like now when I look at certain things, I can kind of piece it together and be like, wait a minute, that ain't right. You know. But when you're younger, you take people at face value a lot of times. You know. You don't want nobody to judge them. You don't want nobody to do this and do that. But as you get older, you can see through all that stuff. I'm gonna just say, if you going on a date with somebody off the internet, the first rule I would say is, please keep all your information private. Please do not give these people all your information about your life and your loved ones and what where they can contact you at any time. Don't give a lot of your personal information because, to be honest, they're not giving you a lot of theirs. You probably don't even know. You barely know their name, and you don't even know if that's their real name. Anytime you ask them questions, the first thing I would want to say, ask a lot of questions. Ask them about them and see how they respond to you. Because a lot of times when they don't have good will to do by you, they're not going to want to answer those questions. And if they answer too quick, they lying. If they take too long, they lying. Because even them, they could be cautious. You know, so ask a lot of questions, and if you decide to meet with them in the daytime. Let it be early day to midday, but don't meet with them in the evening. Okay, when I say early day, it could be from 10:30. We could go 11 o'clock a.m. to about 3. But anything after that, where it'll be turning night soon, even after 3, you don't need to meet them after 3. 3 is the cutoff time. Okay, at 3 you can still go see a movie in 2 hours and leave at 5. And see, some places 5 start turning dark, so that still might be too late. But just try to meet with them early, and meet with them in a live place where it's a bunch of people and it's busy and people moving around and going forward and doing stuff. And another thing is what I do when I was trying to do a little dating, I would never drive my car. I would order a Lyft, and I would order a Lyft and I would have it scheduled. So I would schedule it. If my date started at 8, I scheduled my Lyft within the accordance of the time, or we gonna date, and that way I had a witness with me. And then with Lyft too, and those kind of driving apps and stuff, they always tracking where you are, tracking where you're going through the phones, so you're not by yourself, and you're not using your personal vehicle because you don't know anything about this person, so you don't know what if the less he knows about you, the better. Okay. So I would, and then when I take the lift, I tell them that's one of my friends or something. I don't even tell them. They don't even know. They don't even know who that is. I be like, oh, I don't have a car, and that's my friend's. If it's a girl, a woman, I be like, I don't have my car messed up, and my friend girl, sister taking me, or her, a lady at her church. You know, I hate to lie like that, but you don't know them people. You just keep it bland with them. You don't know who you're dealing with. And another thing is, cut on your location finders and stuff on your phone. You know, get on social media. You know, take a picture of them. Take a picture. If they don't want to take no picture, that's another red flag. You know, say, oh, I want to take a picture. Can we take a picture? They don't want to take pictures because they be lying and stuff. But at least you at least with them phone apps and stuff like that, like Facebook, it'll say, Kiki was at Kiki was at Burger King, and it'll get an exact Burger King location you was at. You know, and you could take a picture. Sneak can take a picture of them. Shoot, so people will know who you was with. Okay. Another thing is just pay attention to a lot of signs with people. You know, if they don't ever look at you and they pacing all around and they don't get a good eye contact, and if they get a little antsy or seem a little angry or seem a little short tempered, just pay attention, because when you start asking them questions, they get aggravated because they don't want to answer them questions. If they intend to do you wrong, the less that you know about them, the better. They don't want to know you, and they don't want you to know nothing about them. But a lot of times when you start asking questions, it causes them to unveil themselves. You can start seeing certain things in them. Because see, especially people that deal with all that those kind of demonic influences that's operating in them to want to do harm to people. Because you could go on a date rape, you could go on a date and get raped by one of these guys. Don't ever go to their houses. Don't ever go to a private place with them. Don't ever go if they want to do a Netflix and chill date for your first date. No, don't ever invite them to your home, and don't go to theirs. Especially if you have kids, don't go to their house. Period. Because you don't know what they got going on in their house. They could give you some wine and have some poison in it and have you knocked out and rape you and throw you on the side of the road, or just chop you up, kill you, and throw you somewhere, burn you up. They don't care. Because they when those spirits are in operation, they're operating through demonic influences. When you get in that arena with them, they whole countenance change. You're not even dealing with that person no more. You're dealing with that demon that's operating in them. You know, it's like when, and by me being in those kind of situations when I was younger, I can just tell you that it's just by the grace of God. And if it wasn't for the Lord on my side, when I tell you where would I be, I mean that. Where would I be? It was one guy I remember, he just switched out. And when he switched out, it was like when you looked at his eyes, they looked at it like they were black. And then I was just talking to him, what's wrong with you? What's wrong? What's going on with you? You know, but he was just, that spirit was operating. And he wasn't in control anymore. And you could feel the atmosphere just change the whole room because that demonic presence is there. But one thing about it, you have to use wisdom in the days of dating. You have to use wisdom. You can't just think, you know, a lot of people in this feminist movement and stuff, they be like, well, I should be able to wear this short dress and go to his house at 12 o'clock at night, and he shouldn't have to think that he can have sex with me. Well, you know what, young lady? He's gonna think that. And he don't have to be a serial killer. He could be the president of the United States. If you go to somebody's house at 12 o'clock midnight with booty shorts on, he gonna want some sex. It ain't about, well, you shouldn't think you should have sex with me because of the way I'm dressed. But you hit his house at 12 o'clock at night. You gotta think, men think different from you. Okay, they think different from you, and you can't. You have to use wisdom. I don't. Some of that feminist stuff need to go out the door. Okay, because that's what put us a lot of us in so much danger because we feel like it's not fair. It's not gonna ever be fair, especially in the gender situation. It's not gonna be fair. Um, yeah, try not to. And then another thing is, if they offer you a drink, try to say just say no. Don't even get comfortable. Um, because you don't know what they might put in the cup, around the cup. You don't know what they're doing, and you don't want to be exposed to a date rape drug or anything. Just say you're not thirsty, or always have you a little drink. Say, well, I just drink water, have it in your little bag. You know, if you're not there to see how the drink is handled, or if you turned your back at any second, don't take a drink from nobody. I don't care who they is. Don't take a drink from them. I don't care if they're your friend, whatever. Just don't take no drink from them because people put stuff around the cups, in the cups. They got eye drops. They'll drop in there. They got all kind of stuff they do nowadays. You can't trust them. Um, So yeah, when you go on a date with these guys, go somewhere where a lot of people at, and then end that date, and make sure you call people and let them know who you with and where you at, and how long you gonna be there. I'm over here. You call your girlfriend, call your mama, call your daddy. Stop being secretive. And see, back in the day, you couldn't just pick up nobody's daughter and go out with them. You had to meet their families and stuff. You had to say, well, hi, Mr. Such Such, can I take such and such out? But nowadays with the internet, I could just get on this computer and oh, I got a date. Oh, you want to go out tonight? Okay, let's go. Meet me at this place. Okay, so you don't even know who you're meeting. And then your family don't know when the police when they find your body, they be asking, well, what happened? Who is she with? I don't know. She didn't tell us. She lived a very private life. No, you don't need to live no private life when you single like that. You need to tell somebody where you going, where you at. Stop keeping those secrets. Stop being secretive. Tell your mama and your daddy or whoever. Say, mama, he said we going to the bowling alley. Which bowling alley? We going to this one down here. Just let them know what's going on. Send a picture. This is him. This his phone number if something should happen. Give them the information. They your family. Say, I was with him. Because you don't know who this dude is. I just want you to be careful. Just be careful, young ladies. That's all I can tell y'all. I know y'all gonna go and live your life and do your own thing, and I understand that. Y'all, nobody can't tell y'all nothing. You know everything, and I get that too. But I just want y'all to be real careful out here, because it's so many young black girls just going out and just getting killed. A lot of things. Sometimes I saw one girl, the one little young girl, she got killed. She was a mother of three kids, and sometimes when you a mom, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna go. Sometimes if you a young mom, you still want to go out and have fun and hang, and I get that. But you gotta understand that before, and I'm gonna talk to the girls who before you have kids, please don't have no children out of wedlock. Please, please do not have any kids. Okay, get on birth control. Don't have no kids until you are married with somebody who gonna cover you as their husband. Please don't seek to be a baby mama. Please. Because when you get stuck with all these children, they going with you. He could walk off into the sunset and nobody ain't gonna be knocking on his door unless he on child support and they say, listen, man, we take you to jail because you owe $50 of child support. They're not studying him other than that. If you don't put him on child support or none of the baby mamas, they're not studying him other than that when it comes to those children. But if you break loose and walk off, It's a whole different situation. It's a whole different situation. Because you're the mother. And they look for you to cover those kids. If you want to still be young and free, please do not have children. Because that requires you to stay home. You got to take that L. When you become a parent, nobody tells y'all that. Y'all get so excited about having them little baby shower parties where you do the gender reveal and everything, and you get to get dressed up like a little princess and get your stomach all painted up, and they take a bunch of photos and everything, and it's all fun and games until that baby drop and that baby start hollering and needing pampers, and you want to be young and free. Them children need you. So if when you have to make the decision at that point, do I risk my life going out with these dudes, or do I be a mom? And see, none of y'all want to hear that because you still want to have fun. I can still date and have this man. No, you can't. You can't. You putting your children at risk. You putting your children at risk because you don't know who you're dealing with. A lot of times, even some of these men date women just to be with to get the opportunity to deal with their children. So you have to be on guard all the time. I made a decision as a mother to not date, and that's when I found myself in a bad position because it gets like that. Sometimes you get lonely. Sometimes you want some attention. But, after that experience I had to think about it. And I said, you know what? I could have been dead. My kids, they wouldn't even know what happened to me. And they deserve me to be here for them. Whether, even if they father or whoever not there, I need to be here. So I have to make better decisions. And if it causes me to just, if I have to make the decision to not date until they become older, then I just have to take that L. Okay? And I have guys asking me out and stuff like that, but nowadays, it's so much stuff going on. Their mindset is different. You don't know what their intentions are. But when you're young and pretty, you have way more men running at you, which could be a dangerous thing. And when you're young and pretty and you done pay for extra enhancements, you making your life even more scary because of all the weirdos that'll be attracted to you for the way you look. Because it's just too much for them to handle. You walking around like an Instagram model and it's just too much. They start stalking you. They start following you. It's just too much. So just be careful, young ladies, because I know you want to look fly and everything like that. You want to look nice but you got to think about all this stuff. And see, nobody wants to talk about it because people say, let them live their life, live their life, live their life, do what you want to do, live your life. But the only person going to be concerned is your family. That's the only person who's going to be crying all the time. Saying, I sure remember Janie. Janie was such a sweet girl. But, it's just like, them the ones that's going to be crying and trying to get a GoFundMe up and trying to make sure you okay. Not these people telling you to live your life. And is your life truly your own? Especially when you have kids. But anyway, this young lady, Lala, she didn't have any kids. But she was a young woman that had a lot to live for. Beautiful. She was an influencer. She's a very attractive young lady. And I'm glad, I'm happy that she was at least attractive so that she can at least get some kind of coverage. Because God forbid if she was overweight and she had her hair wasn't done or something on them pictures. Because they definitely wouldn't care. But thank God she looked like a black Barbie doll. That she can get some kind of exposure. That somebody would say, wait a minute, who killed this beautiful black girl? And I want that man to get justice because I know he has more to say and knows more than what he's letting on. And I'm just going to pray, Lord God, that you reveal those things. Don't let the enemy win in this, God. Open the doors, Lord God. Just let that case be open, and let him come to justice. Or whoever murdered, God, you know all, you see all. Whoever murdered this young girl, bring them to justice, God. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go on and sign off. But I hope y'all have a good night. And and we'll talk about this a little more later, guys. Okay, have a good night. Bye.